What's up, everyone? How you doing? It's John. In this video, I'm going to talk about my thoughts about this new ColecoVision arcade. Now, for those who are not aware, the brand ColecoVision announced this new arcade that they're selling. It's pretty pricey. So my opinion on this, the purpose of the video isn't, first and foremost, I'm not in here to endorse it. I'm not here to talk bad about it or slam it in any sense of negative way or anything like that. I simply want to do this video to share my thoughts about what I think about the arcade, what I know about it, and you guys can form your own opinions if you comment below, do response videos, certainly please do that. But one of my big pet peeves on YouTube is there's a lot of channels out there that get a lot of subscribers and views because they're very opinionated and they have a lot of negative views and they don't really do their research, right? And so I'm not here to do that, right? I think everyone's entitled to their opinion, okay? So what is this ColecoVision arcade? Well, this is a full-size arcade that ColecoVision announced. Now, the ColecoVision brand itself is much different than the ColecoVision console back in the 80s. I am very fond of the ColecoVision. In fact, for those who know me, ColecoVision is one of my favorite consoles of all time. It was the very first system I played as a kid. Growing up, with my family, we had a ColecoVision console. It's a console that came out in 1982, really lasted for about a year, less than 2 million units sold worldwide. It really came right before the video game crash of 1983. Unfortunately, so terrible timing, and it was overshadowed by, when we talk about retro gaming, obviously NES is king, and it's really overshadowed. But for those who've never played the ColecoVision, I encourage you guys to check it out. There's so many great games for it, great homebrew community on it. I'm part owner of a company called ColecoVision Games, hence the name ColecoVision, and one of our specialties is making new games for the ColecoVision. In fact, I believe there's more games now that are like, quote, homebrew games, new games that came out for the ColecoVision that ever came out initially for it, which is awesome. There's a great community on Facebook, ColecoVision Lunatics. There's over 22,000 members in that group. So there is a market for ColecoVision. People are fond of it. People have nostalgia for the brand, right? Having said that, the ColecoVision brand itself, unfortunately, has been dragged through the mud as of the recent years, right? Many of you guys may recall the ColecoVision Chameleon. And that was a nightmare. My company, ColecoVision Games, got unfortunately wrapped up into that. They reached out to us and wanted to port some of our games over to it. We agreed. Huge mistake. I have ulcers just thinking about it, and I'm really thankful that never sold. Glad no one lost their money. That fortunately, so there's some good out of it. But it was a huge debacle, and unfortunately, that really tarnished the ColecoVision name and brand itself. Most recently, they released some tabletop mini games, which I thought were really cool. I believe Metal Jesus did some videos on those in the past of the tabletop, and they're kind of in the same vein and style of the original ColecoVision or the Coleco tabletops they did in the 80s, which is awesome. Coleco, by the way, is a great, kind of unique company. They started making leather products back in like the early 1900s, and one of their probably more famous products that they released besides the ColecoVision was the Cabbage Patch Kids back in the 80s. Huge following there. But unfortunately, the brand went away right after the failure of the Coleco Atom, which is their home computer, and it just went away, right? And people have kind of been carrying on the torch, right? We at ColecoVision Games have carried on the torch to bring games and breathe new life into the market. Now, we understand at ColecoVision Games, it's a very niche market, very great market. I mean, the collectors are amazing people, awesome people, but it's very, very small. And so only a few people, in terms of like worldwide, gamers, retro gamers itself, really appreciate the ColecoVision in itself. So it's really interesting to see the ColecoVision brand kind of come out of the woodwork again in terms of this form of the arcade. About a couple months ago, a gentleman reached out to me via email. We spoke over the phone briefly, and really nice guy out of Utah. He had explained to me that they had acquired the license for the ColecoVision. He was not aware. I brought up the Chameleon debacle. He was not aware of that at the time, which is interesting because I figured if you're purchasing a brand or licensing a brand, you do some research on the brand itself, and it's certainly not hard to find history about the Chameleon. But despite that, we spoke, and he was interested in us at ColecoVision Games licensing some of our games for this unit. We're still in talks and negotiation. Nothing's been formalized yet, to be honest. So like I said, we're not in part of this project, but he mentioned the price, and he mentioned the plans to sell this on a major retail website, right, for the holidays. And it kind of made sense, right? And what he also mentioned was that this is different. I asked him, is this arcade like the 1-Ups? Is this something that you put together, like an arcade 1-Up arcade cabinet? Is this something you put together and build? And he was like, no, this is going to be a really top-notch high quality product. I was looking at the website, it has a subwoofer, for example, it has really top notch control sticks and buttons, and this thing is made out of wood, and it's a really high quality wood. It's milled, put together, right? So you don't have to assemble it, which is nice. It comes with 40 ColecoVision games, flashback games from the flashback, 40 of them. And they call it open source, meaning you can add other games, other systems and emulators on this thing. Here's the catch. And this is where, when I heard them say this, and then I saw on their website now, it is sticker shock, right? And I know many of you guys will think the same thing. They're asking for $2,300 US for this arcade. That does not include shipping. I looked and see what I'm kind of curious on how much shipping would be. I live in Arizona. The gentleman was from Utah. I'm not sure if that's where they manufacture or not, but I'm assuming that it's probably close to that area. At $450 just shipping alone for this thing. So this thing is full-size arcade, obviously very heavy. They have to probably freight ship it. So shipping is at least $450 if you live in Florida and other parts of the country, probably even more than that potentially. So you're looking at maybe a $2,900 investment. Now they are offering a 10% discount right now currently on their website. So great, you get $230 off. So you're still spending over $2,000 for this arcade, which again, in my opinion, I think is overpriced. Especially considering that it comes with Atari Flashback, which are very common games, 40 games. Now you can add more games to it, and it's awesome. This is definitely geared for the diehard ColecoVision fan, which, like I mentioned before, is pretty niche, very small in terms of retro gamers as a whole. So I really don't know. I hope this does well. I don't wish any ill will towards the group doing this. Like I said earlier in the video, I don't know how much it costs them to produce it. I know they're putting a lot of money into the quality product, which I do respect them for that. So I'm not going to do the video and bash them and say, man, they're trying to rip people off. Because here's the thing, you know, as a business major myself, I know there's a thing called supply and demand. And if it's too much, people are not going to buy it. The demand's going to be low. If it's too cheap, people are going to buy it. It won't be available, right? So it's kind of finding that happy medium as far as what the right price point is for this. My personal opinion, I think $2,300 US is way too much. I'm not sure how much it is to produce this, but again, I don't know how much the markup is, because there's got to be some markup. I don't know how much time they put into developing this and designing this. I think the design looks really cool. I love the ColecoVision logo itself. Like I said, I love the brand, the ColecoVision brand, but I really feel like this is another situation where people are going to bash it. I feel like people are not going to buy it, not going to be supportive of it because of the price. And I feel if it was more within the 500 range-ish, maybe, then people would be interested, but obviously that's a way off from the $2,300 price point. You look at the Arcade 1-Up arcades, for example, they're $600, $700, $500 to $700, right, range. Granted, the quality of the product there, Arcade 1-Up, is not what we're talking about here with this ColecoVision arcade. So again, I don't know, like even for me, like personally, I'm priced out of this. I'm not going to spend $2,300 for an arcade. A, it takes up a lot of space, and B, I don't want my wife to kill me. She would kill me if I paid that much for something like this. There are people who are going to buy it. I think there probably are. Is it going to be enough people to keep this sustainable? That will be an interesting thing to see, because my personal thought is with the economy we are, the inflation the way it is, all that, that's a lot of money to drop on a product. And, you know, yes, they're marketing as open source, you could add games, but you could purchase a Raspberry Pi for a fraction of that price for less than $100. You can add, emulation station, you can add a whole bunch of emulation is free. And so I don't know what the difference of this, to be honest, of purchasing emulation, like a cheap, like a single board computer emulator system hooking up to your HD TV, and this, right? I guess the big difference would be the joysticks and controls, which is cool. Yes, that is a possibility. But is that worth that additional $2,200 for that? I don't know. ColecoVision console itself is not hard to emulate. All the ROMs are out there. They're super easy to research and do your own. So I think this is really gearing towards the people who are closer to my age, 30s, mid 40s, 50s, etc., who are really nostalgic for the brand and they are passionate for the brand and who want to purchase it just for the brand itself. But like I said earlier, unfortunately, ColecoVision name has been dragged through the mud with the chameleon, and I feel like this might be another situation where, unfortunately, I don't think this is going to do as well as they'd hope because of the price point. So I hope if they're watching on the team, I hope they listen to the community. I hope they're able to figure something out where they can meet someone in the middle, because I think it's a very expensive. That's my opinion. You guys may think differently. You guys may agree with me. please leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. For me personally, I'm out. I cannot afford it. I think even honestly, even if it was like $1,000, that's a lot of money. And that'd probably price me out as well. I'd probably be more in the $500, $700 range. I think that's what most people are expecting to pay for arcades. Given the arcade went up, I kind of set that bar, so to speak. We'll see. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think of it. Also, and the look itself, the feel. It's kind of interesting. Anyway, wanted to let you guys know about it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you guys soon. Take care. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Game on.